listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shamaya Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shamaya Reed.
Welcome to Refocused Radio. Once again, we are here today, and man, we have a true honor. We have a powerhouse today. This morning, we have Pro Football Hall of Famer Champ Bailey himself. He appears in a new film. It is coming out January 16th. It is Signing Tony Raymond in theaters. First and foremost, I just want to cut to the chase and say, man, I had the honor to watch the preview of this. Great job. I love it, man. Tell us all about this project.
Oh, man. Well, thanks for having me. Good talking to you, Shamaya. Man, you know, where do I begin? When I read the script, it just sat well with me. You know, I could relate to being in a small town. So you got to imagine Tony Raymond, who's this highly touted athlete, defensive end. Everybody's trying to get this kid to sign with their school. And then we have this coach, Walt McFadden, that has to sign this kid in order to save his job. So, you know, he gets to his hometown and he's dealing with family, the community, jumping through all these hoops. And to give you a good understanding, this movie takes place in South Alabama, which you can imagine, small town kid, everybody knows everybody. So he's dealing with the family, community, but he's jumping through these hoops to try to sign him. And the idea of what's important to him, nobody really knows, you know. And I think that's sort of where he found his niche. He found out what's really important to Tony and was able to, you know, do whatever he could in that way to get him to try to sign with his school. But for me, you know, the reason I really got involved is our writer-director, Glenn Owen, who's a former Georgia Bulldog. You know, I always want to work with my dogs, and he just happened to have a project that sat well with me. And I love the idea of shooting it and filming it in Georgia. We raised the money here in Georgia. So it's a Georgia-grown film. So being a Georgia guy, that meant something to me. And, you know, I got to give him a lot of credit, man. I didn't know how this thing would turn out. He did most of the work. You know, he obviously wrote the movie. He directed the movie. I helped procure some of the talent. But it was really, you know, his expertise behind the scenes that really pulled it all together. You know, just being on set, man, it's so eye-opening to see these pros go to work. I mean, we got some highly touted actors in this movie. Mira Sorvino, who's an Academy Award winner, Rob Morgan, Michael Mosley, Jackie Kay, just to name a few. Then I got some of my guys to do cameos: Shaquille Spikes, Harry Douglas, Jesse Palmer, Charles Woodson, Richard Sherman. Man, look, we got some good guys. And also Marshawn Lynch has a good role in the movie, the Boz. So, man, when it all came together, I was just looking back like, man, we really did all this. So I'm proud of what we put together, but I'm also proud of the way the movie shows, because it's relatable to my story, but it's also relatable to what's going on today in college sports. So everybody can take something from this as far as recruiting goes and really get a feel for what it's like being a highly touted and sought-after recruit from a small town.
Once again, you can watch this amazing movie in theaters, January 16th, Signing Tony Raymond, talking to Pro Football Hall of Fame member Champ Bailey. Man, the character, Walt McFadden, he's going through so many twists and turns throughout the whole film, but it sheds the light of the business of the game. From your experience, how hard is it today for coaches to hold on to the values in a win-now environment?
It's tough, because the conversations are mostly about money today, and it shouldn't be. You know, I'm not saying these kids shouldn't get paid. They absolutely deserve to be compensated. But when you have money as the main topic of conversation, it falls short on what's really important. And I think the ultimate thing is we want to make sure we pour into these kids. They're highly talented, and they have bright futures. They're unique. So these are going to be the best of the best and the leaders of our next generation. So we have opportunity to really put forth in front of them what's really important, and that's their development, their character, you know, their leadership values. Like, all those things are what matters to what it means to be a 30 or 40-year-old or a pro in the real world. And I think when you start having conversations just about the money, you don't get to talk about that or focus on that. And we see kids bouncing around schools and this and that, and we talk about how the kids need to tough it out and this and that. Well, we forget the underlying theme here. They're kids. So we can't expect them to make adult decisions. We have to shape this for them. And the moment we do that, we'll start seeing better outcomes. And that's what I'm looking forward to.
In the movie, Tony Raymond's family dynamic is very intense. Everyone wants something different from him in his future. As someone who actually lived his life at the highest level, what advice would you give families navigating recruitment today?
Well, I would focus on the environment that the kid would be in. I mean, I have a high school son that's hoping to do exactly what I did. But I'd be damned if he's going to go to a school that doesn't have a good foundation. It doesn't care about the values and pouring into him as far as his character and how to work and how to be on time, all the soft skills that he learns. Because that's what really prepared me for where I am at this point in my life, is the things football taught me. Like, we learn a lot from the game, but if you don't have the right people pouring into you the right way, it's not going to be a good outcome when you leave that place, because everybody's not going pro. Like, it just doesn't work like that. But everybody that does, they end up not being pro at some point. So you have to be prepared for what's next. And I think the moment we can look at the bigger picture and stop focusing on just the money and, the NIL and the fame now, let's really focus on what's important. But it's sort of hard because the money kind of blinds you to that, and it covers your eyes to what's really important, and it's unfortunate.
Me personally, interjecting here, I would say this film does a great job helping paint the picture that life is bigger than the game. There's a lot of important things outside the game. So I appreciate you highlighting that for us. Once again, the movie, you can get it. I mean, you can watch it in theaters January 16th. It's Signing Tony Raymond, talking to Pro Football Hall of Fame member Champ Bailey. My last quick question for you before we sign off is, this film isn't anti-football, it's reflective. How do you hope young minds of athletes and also head coaches and fans will walk away thinking after watching this film?
Well, look, we understand this. Football is important and it's valuable, and it could teach you a lot. It taught me a lot, and I often say, while you're in it, pour into it, and it'll reciprocate. That's just how it is. So for anybody watching this, you'll really get to learn how much football brings into your life. The opportunities, the moments of perseverance, the leadership qualities, the teamwork aspect of the game. Nothing prepares you more for all that than football can. And I just hope when people do watch it, they get it, but they also realize there's another side to it, because you can't go out there banging the rest of your life. It just doesn't exist. It won't happen. Like that there's going to be a time when those cleats have to be hung up, and you want to be prepared for what's next. So surrounding yourself with good people who are good leaders and good mentors, that's what's really important in the long run. But the game is very valuable. So get out what you put in. That's pretty much how it works.
Powerful message and a powerful movie that you can watch tomorrow in theaters. Signing Tony Raymond in theaters January 16th. Then talking to our guest this morning, Pro Football Hall of Fame member Champ Bailey. So much want to say. Appreciate your time this morning. You have a good one, man.
Thanks, Shemai. Good talking to you.